There were complaints that it was racist.
I started it for the same reason that Donald Trump is talking about. I started it in 1994. We had years of 2,200 murders, 7 murders a day, numbers that we're talking about war zone numbers of murders and shootings. And during my tenure, I brought murder down 65%, and then Michael Bloomberg brought it down another, ultimately, between the two of us, 85%. And I used Stop, Question, and Frisk, not as much as Mike and Ray Kelly did. I used it about 80, 90, 100 times a year. They had gone up to about 400 or 500. And here's what it is. It's Stop, Question, and Frisk, totally justified by the United States Supreme Court decision called Terry versus the United States. And it says if a police officer has reasonable suspicion to think you're committing a crime, not probable cause he can arrest you. Sure. Reasonable suspicion is the lesser standard. In other words, if he suspects but doesn't have real reason,
got a feeling.
Right. His instincts as a police officer tell him that this is bulging out a little too much. He can come over, he can stop you. Yep. He can frisk you to protect himself, and he can question you. If he ends up with a gun or drugs, which when I was mayor, basically our success rate was somewhere between 40 and 50%, he can arrest you. The community...
Why is it so effective?
Because it takes a gun right out of your hand. It's actually the answer to the whole debate over gun control. New York and Chicago have gun control. Why does Chicago have per capita 3.5 times the murders of New York? They already have more murders in Chicago this year than we're going to have in all of this year.
Well, nobody's taking the guns away.
Exactly. But because bad guys don't go registered.
Don't follow.
I used to say about the mafia, Fat Tony Sarno doesn't go get a gun permit. Neither does the hood on the street go get a permit. You know why? There's probably a warrant for his arrest, and he's going to go to jail. So he doesn't get a permit. The gun control laws are on the books, but they're not worth anything because they affect, are they worth something for legitimate people? Yes, in terms of safety and everything else. But they're not worth anything where the criminal is concerned. You got to go get the gun away from him. You got to take it away. And I think that's why Donald said, maybe for people who are upset with Stop, Question, or Frisk, they should at least allow it for communities where there is a tremendous amount of crime.
Sure. Which is why he mentioned Chicago.
It saves lives.
All right.
Thank you, Mayor.
Rudy, thank you very much. Always a pleasure.
Let's hand it over to Heather, who has some headlines for us.
Good morning. Let me just add something, though, to what the mayor just said. When I was working in local news here in New York City, families who lived in those dangerous communities where there was crime, the parents there really liked that Stop and Frisk program because they felt it saved their children's lives.
There you go.